Shortly before arriving in Vienna, Secretary of State John Kerry said it was time to give Syrians more options.
We have to eliminate the mindset, which was encouraged from the beginning by both Assad and Daesh, that the only choice Syrians have is between the two of them. You either have terrorists or you have Assad. No, that's not the choice.
While Iran and Russia have backed Syrian President Bashar al-Assad both politically and militarily, they are willing participants in the talks on Syria's political future.
The main objective of that meeting is to help with launching as soon as possible of a political process in Syria through inter-Syrian dialogue.
Russia's interest in Syria is more economic than political.
Moscow is bleeding. It's bleeding blood and money in Syria. And I think the Russians know that what President Obama says is true, that it's a quagmire and that they need to end this sooner rather than later.
And that Iran's goal is to disrupt the region.
I'm suspicious when Iran's at the table that they're going to actually be duplicitous, and whatever they say is not what we're going to get.
There's also concern that both countries see themselves as being in the driver's seat when it comes to talks on Syria's future.
I fear that Iran and Russia feel they have the upper hand in any diplomacy because they have a more robust presence on the ground, more robust than any other international player, and more robust than they've had in the past.
And at some point, those talks will have to include the key players, the Syrian government and the moderate Syrian opposition. Pam Dawkins, VOA News, Vienna.
It fell to outgoing House Speaker John Boehner to announce his successor.
Therefore, the Honorable Paul D. Ryan of the state of Wisconsin, having received a majority of the votes cast, is duly elected as Speaker of the House.
Democratic Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi, a former Speaker herself, handed over the gavel.
In the people's name, it is my privilege to hand this gavel to the Speaker of the House, Congressman and Honorable Paul Ryan.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Ryan has been a rising star in the Republican Party, climbing from waiter and legislative aide to Speaker of the House. In 2012, Republican presidential candidate Mitt Romney chose him as his vice presidential running mate. Ryan is also widely respected by Democrats, even though they disagree with his budget policies. But Ryan admits he faces the challenge of a lifetime as Speaker, which is second in the line of succession if anything happens to the President and Vice President.
The House is broken. We're not solving problems. We're adding to them. And I am not interested in laying blame. We are not settling scores. We are wiping the slate clean. Neither the members nor the people are satisfied with how things are going. We need to make some changes, starting with how the House does business.
Outgoing Speaker Boehner left Ryan with a parting gift. He negotiated a sweeping budget deal with the White House, which should avert any government shutdowns or the threat of default on the national debt for 2 years. This should give Ryan some breathing room to start repairing the broken house. Cindy Sain, VOA News, Capitol Hill.
We probably will not be riding in a car like this anytime soon, but a power source similar to the one running Toyota's concept car FCV Plus may soon power our next vehicle. Prompted by the Japanese government's incentive, Japanese automakers, together with their American and European partners, are pushing towards the hydrogen-based economy.
We want to create a society that produces, uses, and connects with hydrogen power.
Honda's more familiar-looking model, Clarity, boasts an integrated fuel cell, electric motor, and transmission unit that is 30% smaller than the unit built in its 2008 model. Fuel cells are electric power generators that burn hydrogen, the most abundant element in the universe. Cars powered by hydrogen are quiet, efficient, and emit zero pollution. Clarity will be on sale in Japan beginning March next year, and in Europe and the United States soon after. Other manufacturers, including Nissan and Volkswagen, continue to develop battery-powered vehicles, especially for the huge Chinese market, where the government is offering incentives to buyers of electric and hybrid vehicles.
We are in electric car for a long time, and we are really determined to keep our advance into this technology.
Volkswagen presented a new version of its Tiguan plug-in hybrid, which has a range of up to 50 kilometers in electric mode and a solar roof for longer drives.
Depending on the amount of sunshine, it can be driven even further. That is because a solar module that can contribute enough energy for an additional 1,000 kilometers per year.
Several models offer the degree of driving autonomy, with Nissan's IDS concept having the most advanced technology. The company expects to introduce it incrementally in its models between now and 2020. A totally radical concept of self-driving cars comes from Yamaha, which unveiled a humanoid robot riding a motorcycle. The company says instead of expensive self-driving vehicles, we could use robots to drive us around in regular cars. George Putic, VOA News, Washington.